Alright. Hi.
So
So,
welcome.
how are things? Sorry about the wait, everybody. I had a unfortunate thing called life, traffic, and heartache.
Oof.
Ooh, wait, heartache. I'm not gonna push on that one.
Heartache because of the traffic.
Oh, I thought the cat girl we were dating finally broke up with you, and I was like, oh no, man, this is the doggo need a hug.
Nope, cat girl's still going strong.
Let's go. Let's fucking go. But so oh yeah, who is the forgot a Blizzard? So Blackbird, just to let you know, we are talking about gaming right now, and why I think gaming is getting worse. We're gonna be watching some videos as we go through it all. So yeah, we're gonna give our bit of a reaction to it all, basically. Well, me and voiceover are just talking while waiting.
Alright, well, let's see. Assholes of Gaming Award. Bethesda gets one, Ubisoft gets one, EA gets one. The guy who made RimWorld, he gets one. Yeah. I'm very disappointed in Tynan Sylvester. He's like he's a Stellaris dev with the price of those DLCs.
Oh yeah, I saw
And
those.
I'm like, those are full price games and they're expansions onto this game. Because there's always gonna be whales that can get it.
That's
Like,
fair.
I haven't bought a single one of them besides Royalty because Royalty was such a fucking disappointment. I paid so much money, and it added in basically an ending and psychic powers, and psychic powers are already a thing created by modders. So,
So they
I was very
basically just added
disappointed.
mods to the game as base, like DLC.
Yes.
Dang.
And then charged $15 for it.
Oh, that's...
Now, granted, the ending for that one was tedious, but at least it was good. The ending for Ideology, where you have to like find this giant supercomputer that ascends reality, that one sucked because you had to remake a colony 3 whole times in one go. And there wasn't even any finances added to it. Like, it didn't even tie into the Ideology thing. And then the new one, sorry, there's 2 new ones now. There's the biotech one, which was alright, but once again, that thing already existed in mods. And then the new one, which adds in children, and I'm like, that was modded in already, alright?
Yeah, so, freaking apparently, Rushcaster is like, oh, that's who I forgot, also not at AA, but Activision cannot make good games right now, but they still make bank on Call of Duty because dumb people. Yeah, let's be honest.
Yes.
So, I'm gonna be honest,
the Unheard of edition for Tarkov is a perfect example of that.
I'm gonna be honest, I think there is one decently sized problem in gaming that I don't think anyone talks about, and that is the whales. I think people mention them, but no one, I haven't seen anyone go into really in depth of whaling, basically. But, do you guys want to do a reaction, or do you want to keep talking and then do a reaction? Because I do have one video I really want to react to because it's someone shitting on Elden Ring, basically saying it's not like easily accessible or like not accessible for like disabled people, basically.
I mean, I would love to see this video.
Let's see it.
You guys want to go in the video? Okay, let me switch to my
Yep.
actually Twitch thing so I can actually video capture. There you guys are. Hello. And see. Let me freaking grab this. I gotta stream it so you guys can watch with me at the same time and not be falling behind on BOsh. Also, I got like a few videos for us, so we will have content to talk about. Oh yeah. This is Elden Ring's DLC is too hard. But let me...
Didn't Mr. Moist already cover this?
Mr. Moist did cover this, but I want to cover it because I really want to talk about this because I have some shit to say.
All right.
Not this.
I heard that Elden Ring was too hard. It's not actually. I'm pretty sure he punched his way through the game.
Okay, let me.
Yeah, he like fisted his way through the game, and it was like,
okay.
yeah.
So, do you guys see the video?
Yes, sir.
Now I see the video.
Now, let me make sure it's at good, decent quality. Okay. No, I love HD.
I want 8 pixels on
I
my
want
screen.
8 pixels. Pixels are bad. But no, we're gonna go through the video one by one, and we're gonna basically talk about it as we go. And I will be pausing midway through to give our thoughts for those who really want to like interrupt or say something. Make these videos. Make that video. Wait, Asmongold made a video on this? Shit, I didn't even know that. Okay.
Asmongold did too. Yeah, everybody did because a bunch of brain dead morons were complaining that it was too hard.
That's fair. Well, let's...
Diatabeo.
Diatabeo! Either way, let's do this.
The day has finally come. The people have finally spoken. So
wait.
Wait.
Did she change the title? What?
Let's
I have
see.
no idea.
Did the title get changed?
Because it
Elden
says
Ring
DLC is too hard / it's not now. The what?
has it been changed?
I think it was changed because the last time I remember it was too hard. Now it's not added on to the back of it. Am I going crazy about that? I think I may be
Check the
going crazy.
comments.
Too many death threats she got, making it clear. Oh. Damn.
Probably, Dan. Probably.
Let's
Are
continue.
you sure that this video isn't about prank?
I don't think it's a prank because considering she's a game developer, and it's one of the things. Because the thing is, it's
Why
not
don't
that.
you check the comments?
Well, the reason I'm saying is because what she's saying here, even if it is a prank, it's what a lot of game developers and like game journalists push. So even if it is, we can still react with a decent opinion on it. Happy to know I made a difference. Thank you, dude. It's not facts. It's
Oh my
facts.
god, Rev. I can't believe you just typed that out.
I mean, it is gonna get crazy. Let's go on.
Miyazaki. Elden Ring's DLC is too hard. I have like a couple of like kind of very different branching takes to make in this video. I am going to talk about accessibility and why I think accessibility is really important and how common of a conversation accessibility is with FromSoft games.
Actually, question, just straight off the bat, what do you guys think about accessibility in games?
I don't know. All I can think of is how she's got the hair of a fracture hob.
What the what? A fracture?
Look up Look up what a fracture hob is, and you'll know what I mean.
Let me bring up another freaking area because I need to look at what a fracture hob is.
I'm pretty sure there's no Rule 34 of it, so you could totally.
If I get Rule 34, I'm booting you.
No, it should be the home safety hotline.
Let's go gambling.
If I see, I'm just saying, you know, fracture hob.
Look at that hair. Look at the hair.
Fracture hob. Are entities recording? There's no danger in human.
Here, I'll send it to you in DMs.
Yeah,
you're reading the article. That doesn't have an image on it. Here, look.
What?
Look at the hair on this. Look at the hair on this.
What the
She's got hair like a fracture hob.
You know what? Yeah, no, just, yeah. I mean, I now that you pointed out, I see it, but ow. That's a wig, 100%. That hurts.
No. I was playing Home Safety Hotline, and all I can think of is how her hair is the same color as the fracture hobs.
I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what Home Safety Hotline is, but it sounds like a Hotline Miami type BS. So let's continue. Oh wait, you still didn't answer the question. What do you guys think about fucking health and safety? This fucking we just insulted her for like 2 minutes.
Did you say health and safety? Do you mean accessibility?
Accessibility.
Did you forget what you said? Okay.
I mean, as long as it doesn't interrupt gameplay or gameplay performance, I'm fine with it.
Accessibility features don't have to be made by the devs. They just have to not be disproven by the like, as long as they're not blocked by the developers, accessibility tools can go a certain extent. Colorblind mode. There's a certain reasonable accommodation that's expected due to the ADA Act, which I believe extends to recreation if you purchase a product. Such as, colorblind mode. That's something that can be built into games. But accessibility, controller, mouse, and keyboard, I've seen people beat them on both. Okay.
So I'm gonna be honest. I think when it comes to accessibility, what I consider accessibility is just different ways of playing the game, like completely being able to reconfigure a controller's button layout. Colorblind mode, like you said. Like different styles of controllers that you can plug into it, like non-restrictive controller inputs, basically. You know, stuff you could just like program into this to make it easier for everybody.
Absolutely.
I think those are what I think true accessibility really does need. But I've seen a lot of people think about it basically just adding easy modes to everything. So I am now curious to see what her take is, because people just keep shitting on her, and I'm gonna be honest, I haven't even watched a full video.
I mean, something that Helldivers dev said is a game for everyone is a game for no one.
You know what? That's a fair point. That is a fair point. Let's continue on and see what she's got.
Concerned, and why I do think it would be great if disabled players could play Elden Ring, even though it is already currently their most accessible game. There's a lot of room for improvement. But we're also going to talk about... I don't even know where to start. There are a bunch of negative reviews on Steam for Elden Ring because Shadow of the Erd Tree is considered too hard. I never thought we would get to a landscape where people will admit that they found a FromSoft game too hard. Like, even if people do, I never thought that they would admit it. Now, it's worth noting that the presence of this has been a little bit exaggerated. A lot of the negative reviews on Steam are also people complaining about the performance problems, which are there, they are consistent. And that's a separate story that I've spoken about before that people did not want to hear, which is that, yeah, FromSoft really gets a pass for a lot of things sometimes. Like, the reviews were all 10 out of 10, even though most of these people are playing on PC, and there are PC performance problems with these games.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest, when it comes to a lot of PC performance games, like, if the PC takes a hit, most people don't care. Let's be honest.
Most people do care if their PC performance takes a hit whenever it affects something that is... Like, that's a valid... See, that's what I thought. This content creator here is talking as a joke. Satire that's too hard, but the difficulty... Like, the performance issues are valid. You know, there's going to be patches to optimize it. Because in a game like this, if it's lagging, that means that you'll have mistimed button presses. And if you're fighting something like Millennia, that needs to be perfect.
I know, I fully agree on that. But my whole thing is, when it comes to a lot of games, even if there's performance problems, people will usually rate the game as still a decent score, even with the problems. Like hell, Jedi, what was it, the Jedi Outcast? Or
Survivor?
Survivor, thank you.
Yes,
Jedi
sir.
Survivor released on PC, and it was abysmal of a port. And like, I think they even had problems, and they still made a decent review score out of it.
Like, which people? The people on Steam or game journalists? Because game journalists...
I'm talking about the game journalists.
It doesn't... Game journalists' opinions don't matter. They are,
glad to know your viewpoint on that, actually.
They are, as we say in the business, dumb. Because money talks to the idiot savants. Right?
You know what?
And when you are
absolute... Oh, sorry, my bad.
And when you are that... Yeah... When the two brain cells that you rub together don't have enough energy to create a good report, they were going to give Jedi Survivor a good thing anyways, because it has Disney behind it. You really think you're going to spurn Disney? Really? No, you kiss the ass of Disney so you get money.
I mean, yeah. But
it's business.
Oh yeah, no, it's not that I don't understand it being business and all that stuff. But I'll go to game journalism later, because I actually have my own thoughts on that and why I think it's actually burning in a weird way currently. But we'll talk about that. Let's continue the video a bit.
Those are totally valid, and thankfully have been patched. So, though, has the difficulty. There are like two sides of this, right? Okay. There's a thing when people talk about FromSoft games that I always find really interesting. People will say, but it's part of the appeal that, like, you're fighting something really hard and then you finally overcome it. That's part of the appeal of the games.
Yeah.
No. While there are things that FromSoft games do incredibly well, like, I am obsessed with their boss designs and their animation. Like, for all the things we love about it, their bosses are so impressive in terms of art direction and animation. They don't even need to be. Like, oh my god, they're just so good at that. The sense of discovery is unparalleled. The uniqueness of the worlds is near unparalleled. Like, there are a lot of things that FromSoft games do really well. But saying part of the appeal is beating it's not part of the appeal. It's the entire design of the game. It's the whole game. It is the core ethos, the core game design of any FromSoft game, is that you are supposed to approach a boss, Be willing to die the first several times as you assess their moveset, you figure out the puzzle that is beating this boss. You've retained information about their movesets, about what kills you, about how you can avoid it, and you roll into them. And then after a certain amount of deaths, which are to be totally expected, if you beat an Elden Ring boss in less than like 3 deaths, in my opinion, that's an RNG fluke and not you playing the game well. The big part of the game is learning how that stuff works.
Actually, question. Voiture, have you actually played a Souls-like game?
Yeah, I've beaten Elden Ring. I'm on my second run of it, and I've played halfway through Sekiro twice.
Okay, I was just curious because I don't know who all.
I'm still stuck on the Elden Beast.
Oh, okay. Wait, you're stuck on the Elden Beast. At least you made it there. I will say that.
No. You wanna know what's funny is I beat Godfrey without dying once. I showed up,
crazy.
I kicked his ass, and then I'm like, oh, this is gonna be easy. Let me just spend my souls, and then I'm gonna go on to the next one. And then I went, and then Radagon is just so tough against magic. I'm a magic user. All right.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
and
dude, I'm a
bringing in
magic
summons,
user.
honestly, I don't get past Radagon if I summon anyone. I have gotten so close to being the Elden Beast so many times, but it always comes down to I run out of mana.
Oh wait,
I run out of my FP so fast.
Wait. How do you deal with Mikola though?
Mikola? Oh,
Mikola.
I'm also
Wait, do you cheese
Are you saying Mikola? You mean Moog? Or are you talking about Melania, the legendary swordswoman?
No. I'm talking about Mikola, the boss you have to fight before the Elden Beast.
That's not Mikola.
That's Radagon.
Oh, sorry. That's my bad. That's me getting shit wrong.
That's all good.
Are you sure you're not a game journalist?
I'm not a game journalist for one reason. I beat Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Game journalists can't say that. Also, I also had to fucking do, like, I fucking, because I beat the game myself, and then I beat it with a bunch of friends doing a co-op playthrough, and now I just started the Elden, because the problem is this, the reason I have such a problem with Elden Ring right now is because it released the same time Dawn Trail did, so I'm like, I love both, sir. I can't play both, why? Because, like, if I dedicate time to one, I'm gonna be missing out on the other. So I've been playing Dawn Trail more. And as soon as I finish Dawn Trail, the next thing I'm playing is immediately Elden Ring. But yeah.
That's very valid.
As it is, I did play Elden Ring a little bit, and I killed the first boss already. Actually, it was my first try. I was very happy about that. But yeah, let's continue. I was just curious about everyone's, like references to Elden Ring or just Souls like in general, because I don't know. I didn't know if you guys, because I'm pretty sure Blackmore did, but I didn't know if you did Worcester.
Yep.
All right, let's continue.
Yeah, I'm still stuck on Elden Beast. It's a shame, I know, but I'll beat it eventually.
So much Sag. Either way, let's continue. Let's go.
Works. That's the point. You go in there, you gather that data, and then you finally beat them. That is the point of these games. The whole point is for them to be extremely challenging. I do think that people complaining about the Shadow of Erdtree DLC should get good. By which I mean just pay attention to the things the game gives you that can make it way easier. That's not to say you're not allowed to complain, okay? We are also really weird. I'm already tangenting inside my tangent. We are really weird about acting like FromSoft games can't be criticized. They are immune to criticism. Like, you are allowed to complain about finding it too hard or feeling like a certain boss isn't balanced or feeling like a hitbox is... Like, you can complain about those things and be valid. And stop acting like any criticism of a FromSoft game makes you a fake gamer. First tangent.
Honestly, I would agree with her, but there's one problem. Dark Souls 2 exists, and I criticize the shit out of that game.
Dark Souls 2 is good besides the clunky ass controls.
Oh no, so the thing is this, the way I rate it is this, if you consider Dark Souls 2 to be like the worst game FromSoft has made, that's still like a really good game. Like, I'm not joshing Dark Souls as being a bad game. Even though Dark Souls 2 doesn't live up to the rest of the Dark Souls series, I would still play Dark Souls 2 rather than playing fucking like Suicide Squad Killers Justice League. I'd play Dark Souls 2 4 times over before I played Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
Honestly, I'd say the early stuff, the stuff that, okay, controversial take. Controversial take.
Got it.
So From Software games, have any of you played Armored Core?
No, but I want to.
Okay. Pause on that. I have played the most of the series. I have played The Last Raven. I have played Armored Core 5. I have played Armored Core 4. I played Armored Core 4 on stream. I have played Armored Core 3. And I finished Armored Core on stream. I
Those
love
count
Armored
as
Core.
from software games, you know.
It's not that it's just okay, let me nerd out about Armored Core, bitch. Damn it. I fucking love that shit, man. Like, if you were an Armored Core right now, I drink your blood. I drink your blood.
Really?
That's that.
What about?
You know what? I even in Kiki way, I'd still drink an Armored Core.
What about Demon Souls? How does that hold up to the rest of them?
I'm gonna be honest. I have not played the Demon Souls.
Demon Souls was the first.
Also,
was like the first Souls game they made, I think.
Also, apparently I have to yell at Voister for not starting a stream already. Yell at Voister, blah!
Oh my god. Rep, I did just for you. Just for you.
Okay.
Demon Souls is probably their... It was alright. But it was really high. It had high difficulty. It was, you know... made by Miyazaki. As I said, it's like the first game, and it was known for its difficulty. If you look back on it now, it's still kind of seen as easy, I guess, is what I'd put it, since they just keep getting harder every single time. My issue with it is not difficulty, but with the DLC, what complaint I've seen that people have had is that the bosses are so big that targeting specific parts, like the auto aim is fucky. Like, the tracking is bad. And I see that as a legitimate thing because that is not a difficulty slider. That is a design flaw.
Yes.
They could make it to where you could target several different areas, like if you're fighting a giant.
Let me target the toe.
Make it to where it's just better. Just make that better, and the DLC would be fine.
We want toe targeting.
They got such negative backlash, they nerfed it all. And I'm like,
I think the problem. I think the problem with what they did was this. They got a bunch of negative backlash, and I also think it's a bit of the people who came in. So there's a bunch of people that came in with Elden Ring, thought their New Game Plus 7 gear was just gonna easily get them through the game, but then they realized, oh shit, Miyazaki developed this. And then they all collectively got their shit kicked out of them because Miyazaki will kill you. That's my there's one saying I have in my household. When you play any sort of Souls game, Miyazaki's intent is to kill you. Doesn't show mercy. Especially if you're playing Sekiro.
Oh man, I love that game. I also feel like a lot of people who were really excited for this game are people who haven't played Elden Ring for months, if not years. They finished it when the game came out, haven't touched it until this DLC. They didn't do any preparing, and then they're trying to speedrun the DLC to touch every single boss as fast as they can. Yeah, of course you're kind of going to get your shit kicked in.
Oh yeah.
I have heard some very legitimate complaints about, I think it's the last two bosses, having really bad particle effects and not being able to see moves, like actually genuinely not being able to see attacks coming in and just getting insta-killed.
It's like a Final Fantasy treatment where it's there's so much going on, you can't actually see what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that there's really, really bad particle effects on at least two bosses, which that's a genuine complaint.
That's fair. Well, let's say we continue on.
Completed. I apologize. Back to the video. Course correcting. Patch dropped for the DLC, meaning that this to me would indicate that FromSoft, gonna lean over a little, kind of agrees with the criticisms, which is pretty nuts. Miyazaki did say that he wanted Shadow of the Erdtree to be the hardest thing they ever made, and it seems like that worked very well. People are finding it extremely difficult.
I kind of want to pause here because it's not that I don't think Miyazaki agrees with the criticism. I think it's one of those things of they kind of had to do something, but at the same time, it's not like most of Elden Ring or other FromSoft games didn't get updates and didn't nerf specific things. They're acting like a nerf is the end of the world when I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of bosses that got nerfed. I mean, remember Radon when that came out? Radon, everyone was getting murdered by Radon to the point they nerfed him.
Yeah, didn't they nerf him 2 times? They nerfed him a few times.
They nerfed him a few times. I killed Radon when it came out, so I remember Radon. Radon was a fucking evil bastard. But damn, like when it comes to the FromSoft games, they're not immune to nerfs. They never were.
No.
Like it's fine for them to be nerfed and all that stuff. It's just one of those things of it. I don't think it's because of the criticism, if that makes sense. It's kind of normal. It's hard, and they still complaining. Yeah, they're still complaining because it's a hard game, but I think it's a bit of the community's fault in a weird way. Not entirely, but a decent chunk.
I feel like this is a multi-layered issue
It is.
because Elden Ring is one of the first Souls game to go insanely public. Like Dark Souls 3 was huge, Sekiro is huge, most Soul games are huge,
Mm-hmm.
but Elden Ring breached the barrier of keeping it within the fan base. Because like for a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things, Dark Souls 3, yeah, it touched a little bit of people who weren't in the fan base, but Elden Ring, almost everyone in this entire gaming space has either played it once
Uh-huh.
or at least heard about it a lot.
The game nearly outsold Call of Duty.
Yes, it is absolutely insane. And because of that, you got people who aren't normally playing Souls game playing this game and talking about that it's hard. And of
Oh
course it
yeah.
is. And I feel like they are also influencing decisions that are being
Mm,
made. And I think that is both a good thing and a bad thing.
I think another thing is this is one thing I want to tie back to what we were talking about earlier for sure before Blackburn you got here. We were talking about like movie style games like the God of Wars, Spider-Mans, Detroit Become Humans. Is how I
Yeah.
categorize games like those, or I categorize them as movie games, like action movie games where you're basically just playing through the story, and then like point and click games, which are basically just story movies that you get to click and choose and change the story as it goes. Wow.
Yeah.
I consider Elden Ring to be the exact opposite. It's a gamey game. Like you play this as a game. You're talking about builds, movements, actions. It's basically just a game. Like it's as pure a game as you can get games. But the problem is this: the movie games are so heavily like they're promoted the most. They are like out there the most. Like Call of Duty, I consider it somewhat basically just an action movie game in a weird way. But
Oh, 100%.
with all those games, with all the movie style games, quote unquote, movie style games being the most prominent, I think it's actually done a bit of harm to gaming because, in my opinion, you don't think with those games. You press buttons, you get through it, and Call of Duty you just mow down the enemies and get through the thing. You have to think in Elden Ring. You don't think in Call of Duty. You don't think in God of War. You don't think in Spider-Man. You just use the gadgets you get, and sometimes you mix and match them. In Elden Ring, I have to think, oh my gosh, this boss is immune to magic. Is there something in my arsenal that I can use to kill him that isn't magic-based? Or do I just use a different type of magic to kill him? Or should I try maybe sneaking up on this if I can? Or this, that, and the other. Like Elden Ring makes you think about how to approach things, how to do things. Do I need this certain armor? Am I going the right way? Am I finding the right dungeon? Did I find a dungeon I never thought I'd find? Like, the movie style games are so handholdy, I think it's caused people to be like, oh my gosh, this game's not holding my hand. I'm freaking out. I'm gonna die. You know?
Yeah, that's genuinely the case. Especially when you're playing a game like this. I think specifically Call of Duty, because Call of Duty again is one of those games that damn near everyone has.
Mm-hmm.
That game
I have like
has
4.
Yeah. Uh, and this goes all the way back to the beginning of COD, which
Yeah.
necessarily isn't a bad thing. It's just
Motherfucker.
by and large how it is. And there is next to no self-discovery. It is once you level up, they're like, oh, here's all the things you can use now. Oh, now you're level 2, here's all these new things you can use. You're level
Yep.
3, here's more things. Oh,
Yep.
you just did X, Y, and Z. Now here's a camera that you can put on this, and this.
I-
There's no self-discovery. It's all you meet criteria, the game tells you, and how to use it.
I'm gonna be honest, I think the only one that actually broke that mold was Black Ops 2.
I could see that.
Because you had separate story options you could go through. You can change loads as you went on. There were secrets to find, intel to grab, and choices you had to make. I honestly think it made you think more than the rest of the Call of Duties, and in my opinion, they have not matched Black Ops 2's either hype or like general gameplay aesthetic since they haven't captured that magic since. Like I think they got
Yeah.
somewhat close to Cold War, and the reason I'm a little excited for the next one is because it's Treyarch. They're adding the stuff I've wanted to see for in Cold War to Call of Duty again, and I am hoping they have a decent enough story to make me want to come back.
Yeah. I saw the movement
Uh-huh.
trailer, and I really like what I saw when I was looking at like the different movement options. It
Oh
looks
hell yeah.
really really good.
Also, hi sexy panda, how's it going? Hello. Also, Blackbear, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'd say things have gotten pretty hand-holdy. The thing is, the
Handholdy,
immersive
ooh,
sim
ooh.
genre is pretty
Did I just say
good
that?
about
Ew.
replayability, such as Prey.
Oh
I'm always
yeah.
gonna sing the praises of Prey 2017. It
I
you can
finished
either
that.
you can kill all the humans, you can spare all the humans, you can go a little bit in between, you can play without alien powers, you can play with alien powers,
Mm-hmm.
and the consequences with that. You can hack machines. Like say the problem of the locked door. You
Yes.
can hack it directly. You can find a key card. You can damage the electronics holding the door shut. You
Mm-hmm.
can have an upgrade that allows you to literally rip the door open once it's not powered.
Mm-hmm.
You can use a hatch to get to the next area. You can mimic a coffee cup and slide in through a small
Slide into those
hole.
DMs, bitches.
Or another thing, a turret. Say that there's an enemy in front of you. You can shoot it with bullets. You can blow it up with psychic powers. You can blow it up with explosives. You can recycle it into parts. You can put down a turret and shoot it using an automated turret. You can chuck a I don't know. You can chuck a couch at it if you want. If you're
Don't
into
chuck
that sort
Mr.
of thing.
Couch. I like my couch. It's a good couch. Don't chuck the couch. Stop chucking
You
couches.
can pretzel it with gravity. You can set it on fire. You can electrocute it. You can levitate it, which I guess that ties into gravity. There are so many ways that you can play that
Mm-hmm.
game, and it all depends on what you want. And not just that, but the DLC itself, Moon Crash, is another way of that because it gains variation on it. You can have areas where there's radioactive waste. You can have areas where there's electricity.
Mm-hmm.
There are games like that, but they are far and few between nowadays.
You know, that's fair. Also, I just realized we're only 3 minutes into the 17-minute video, and I'm gonna be honest, I may not get to the other videos. Yeah,
Well, the
let's
thing
just
is, this one that we have is kind of just saying what we're already saying.
in a weird way, yeah. I say we continue on until we actually get to something we might actually want to talk about.
Okay.
And people who have been long-time FromSoft fan, that was the intention. I mean, it would have been crazy to let you just like finish Elden Ring and then just continue as though you were still playing Elden Ring. Like they did have to up the difficulty for the DLC to even justify its own existence, in my opinion. But basically, attack and damage negation curve scaling of the Shadow Realm blessings have been revised. The attack and damage negation has been increased for the first half of the maximum amount of blessing enhancements, and the second half will now be more gradual. The attack and damage negation granted by the final level of blessing enhancements has been slightly increased. So again, I take this to mean that they like kind of agree, and they were like, "Oh, we maybe did make this too hard. Okay, how bad?" Which is super interesting. But there are things about this that, oh my god, I have so many opinions. This video is gonna turn out so messy. First, Shadow of the Erd Tree tells you what you need to do to get good, and I think really it just requires patience. You may be familiar with scatter tree fragments. I'll keep this quick in case you literally are familiar, but basically, this is effectively a means of an accessibility feature that exists inside of Shadow of the Erd Tree because it is optional, and I love that they've done this. So, Scatter Tree Fragment is a new upgrade material in Elden Ring, debuting in the Shadow of Erdtree DLC. Scatter Tree Fragments are optional consumables that can be used to enhance simultaneously offensive and defensive capabilities at any sites of grace, acting like a permanent boost to your DLC damage dealt and damage negation. Basically, you go find these things, they will make you stronger in the game. If you are having trouble with a certain boss, you literally just have to go find these things. They are made solely for the DLC. They only work in the DLC. They do not work in the base game. They are there specifically for players who are having trouble with any bosses that are already there, which is totally fine, by the way. You're allowed to have trouble with Elden Ring. You're allowed to find it hard. But they have been put in the game to give you that option. I love that they make this stuff optional. That it's like, yes, you have to go through effort to be able to do this. And in theory, you need to look up a walkthrough, find the locations of them. But I love that it's like a thing that is available to all players who are having trouble. Leave the boss. Coolest thing about Elden Ring, where accessibility is concerned, when you play as FromSoft games are concerned, is that you can just leave at any time. Go find these. The DLC will become easier for you. That is, they put it in there for you, and I just feel like maybe a lot of people have missed it, which I guess is like part of also the design of Elden Ring, right? Is like, FromSoft games don't over-explain anything to you. But yeah, I'm finding this stuff very funny. These games are hard. We should be allowed to criticize things we don't like about them. They're not immune to criticism. I do feel like Shadow of the Erdtree literally has told you the thing that you can do to make it easier. But same time, them patching it would imply to me that they were also like, maybe a bit much, which is funny. I'm not telling you to get good.
I think it's
I'm
a bit of
telling
a
you
reach,
to
but
use
that's me.
all of the features available to you to cater your experience, which is the coolest thing about accessibility.
I think it's more nuanced
in general.
than them
It is
just
time to talk
being
about the incredibly cool
I'm not doing a fucking ad for you. I'm sorry.
accessibility. I'm not actually asking for an easy mode. That isn't the intent. Here's the thing I want to spell out where accessibility is concerned. People who are disabled, I felt myself doing it, I'm going to do it, is another tangent. There are also multiple kinds of disabilities, especially where gaming is concerned.
I mean, yeah.
There are long-term disabilities, there are situational disabilities, there are temporary disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
It counts as a disability where a video game like Elden Ring is concerned if you have a kid. You have a 2-year-old.
What?
Okay.
The what? What?
Yeah, children.
Face.
Yeah, sure.
What?
Fucking idiot! You should have known that children are a
Whoa,
liability.
whoa, no,
I
no,
guess.
no.
What the hell is?
No. I need to do a playback real
What are
quick.
they
Give me a
smoking?
second. Give me a second. Playback.
There are situational disabilities, there are temporary disabilities. It counts as a disability where a video game like Elden Ring is concerned if you have a kid. You have a 2-year-old, you're trying to play Elden Ring, you can't pause.
Yeah, you can't pause. Maybe just take the L and go fucking tend to your kid. Are you kidding me? What the fuck?
Yeah. Okay, mom. Let's go ahead. Yeah, I have the multiplayer pause button here.
No, reptile, no, no.
Oh
my.
God. Is she making the? I would hate if like I was like 5 years old and I was like I just fucking stabbed myself and my mom is too busy trying to beat Melania to come and look at me. Like, are you kidding me? What the fuck is your point?
It's called
Take
having
the L.
self-control. What the? This person doesn't seem to understand that.
Gosh. Freaking just playing. You see the mom playing Elden Ring. Mom, I stabbed myself. Shut up, Ellie. I'm playing Elden Ring. I'm trying to beat Moog, the Bloodlord. I'm bleeding right now.
Like,
Mogwin, the bloodiest of lords.
That's actually insane. If you're in the middle of a fight and your child needs attention, put down the controller. Just
take the L.
die.
You can come back and get the souls. And besides, my problem isn't that. My problem is you describe them as a fucking disability.
That's crazy.
That is actually unhinged.
That is so fucked. God. Not based. Bad reptile. Go to the fucking timeout corner. Children are not okay. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. If this is like the mothers of the future, and this isn't like getting mean or anything, or generalizing, but if this is like a freaking mother in the future, no wonder the next generation is so fucked.
Yikes! Yeah.
Like
we are the next. We're still kind of the next. Wait, what?
We're not. I'm talking about
the age of that individual.
Yeah.
And you tell me.
And if that's the individual raising a child, we are all fucking boned.
Yeah, but they're similar age to us. What?
Don't matter. We're still fucking boned.
Next generation. The next generation is the tablet generation.
Yeah, the next generation.
Didn't you? Last time I was at the Science Center and they were doing dev and they were developers. I was watching these children, these absolute sad children.
Oh shit! Are they shooting off fireworks?
And try and touch the monitors. Yes, they're shooting fireworks. It's the 4th of July in 2 days.
That's fair. Will be Sigma at just comes out wearing glasses.
Oh my god.
Oh
yeah,
god.
you just go take care of your children. You stop playing the game because you have self-control.
My kids make me disabled in
All
video
right.
games. Yeah, that's
Next point.
crazy.
Next point.
Yeah,
We're gonna be here
let's.
for 15,000 years.
We're gonna
Next point.
criticize
Anyone
her
else have
forever.
anything
That
to
is a
say? Real quick.
My only thing is, I take highly offense that you're considering children as disablements for gaming. And honestly, if you consider gaming more important than a disability, like a child, you are very much a failure as a parent. That's the only thing I'm stating right now. Let's continue.
That's insane.
Situational disability that you have, where the game not having the option for you to be able to pause.
Okay, I'm gonna be
example.
honest. If she described it as like a situation where you couldn't like pause and not described it as a disability, I don't think we'd be having this. I think the way she describes it as a disability makes it worse. Like taking out the context. Say she never said the word disability, and she's like, say like your kids that and you can't pause. That's the one thing bothering me with. Like actually, even then, I don't. Even then, why would you try to make it easier? Like you what's there to make easier because of that? Like what? Like how does that stop? How does that enable? What? The
Well,
logic is lost
there's
on me on this
also-
one.
I don't know. I feel like that's rage bait. I'll be honest. That's way too.
I'm gonna be
way
honest.
too fucking psycho just to say with your chest and have that being your genuine opinion. In all honesty, that feels like rage bait.
Well, maybe, but keep in mind she's also a game developer. But at the same time, I've seen I don't know. It's just maybe it's the way they describe it in game development. I don't know. All I know is that is an incredibly fucked up take right there. But let's continue.
Is a hindrance for your particular disability.
Whoa! Ella, no! No! I'm gonna go inform both my boys they make me disabled video game. No!
Yeah, you're not born to play video games, alright?
Oh
You're
my
born to
g-
dilly-dally and you're forced to lock in.
Oh my
Okay?
gosh, that's awful. Gosh, holy crap! This hurts my soul. Let's continue.
Disability. You may need to pause to stop your kid from putting a fork into a socket, a power outlet. In Australia, we call power outlets PowerPoints, but when I moved to the US, I got bullied for that because people thought that I was referring to like a PowerPoint slideshow. So
that's fair.
Trying to get that one out of my vocab. And there are temporary disabilities. You break your wrist, you sprain your wrist, you temporarily have trouble playing video games. You would need.
I'm gonna be honest. I even think playing with like a broken wrist, you could still play Elden Ring. I've seen people play it with their fucking mouths and beat the game like, no death style.
Yeah, I mean this one can be simply summed up by maybe don't play the game until your injury is no longer there. So I don't know. Another rage bait post in my opinion.
Damn it, Ella, you're making me cough.
My son said it's my fault for playing video games. That's amazing. That's so funny.
Everyone go follow Ella right now. If you don't, I'll be very sad. She is the best doggo, and I will be collabing with her on Thursday, which is also 4th of July, so I hope everyone has a great celebration. Let's continue.
Need something to help you press certain buttons if you're playing Elden Ring. The third one, long-term, people who have long-term disabilities. That I do. I have tendonitis in both of my wrists from playing too many video games, unironically. That is a thing, from tapping too much. That means any rapid button mashing in any game, I'm going to have a lot of trouble with unless there are accessibility options to prevent that. It's part of what I worked on God of War Ragnarok. That's part of why I made an accessibility award show to like highlight this particular thing is like I have a lot of trouble with fighting games. I have a lot of trouble with any game that's really button mashy. If there are too many button prompts, I'm going to be in pain and have to like ice my wrist afterwards and not really be able to play it. And here's the thing about
small tangent.
That's kind of a you problem.
Also,
I'm just gonna say that you didn't have that happen in an accident. How did you got tendonitis? That's treatable if memory serves.
Well, not only that, but isn't tendinitis? Isn't tendinitis?
Tendinitis, not
tinnitus. Okay, because I was trying to make sure I heard it correctly. Because like tinnitus is like where the ring in the ear, not being able to hear that well, versus tendinitis where it's like hard to move and shit.
Well, it's like carpal tunnel, I guess.
Yeah.
It's
So
caused by repeated movements.
That's fair.
from my knowledge, it is not only A, preventable, B, treatable, and then C, you can take pain medication for it.
That's fair.
So, and if it's really that bad, maybe let's not be playing fighting games that have us button spamming. I don't know.
Long time. Not going to blame the game. Yeah, that's a fair point, Ella. My entire hand gets fucked from gaming a long time. Not gonna blame that on the game, though. That's just
Yeah.
you. Let's continue.
Accessibility in Elden Ring, where any of those things are concerned. I think there's a misunderstanding that people think disabled gamers, whoever else, want an easy mode. This is not the case. It's that the appeal of Elden Ring being really fucking hard is also appealing to people with disabilities. They too want to play the extremely hard game that is very hard for them to beat. They're not asking you to give them an easy mode and make it easy for them to get through. They're asking for a version of the game that can be played with their particular disabilities. So they can still.
Okay, one thing I'm nitpicking on, but one thing that does concern me is how she puts it, a version of the game. You don't need to make an entirely new version of the game to make it accessible. If someone doesn't have a hand and they have a specific controller for one-handed people, make control settings that can be programmed so they can use it on that one-handed controller. If someone is like, fucking like colorblind, add a colorblind function. You don't have to make an entirely another version of the game that's specifically designed for disabled people. You just have to add more options.
Yeah, well, I also think, at least when I find out on like Twitter or like TikTok that somebody beat Elden Ring at its base difficulty with a disability, I am far more impressed at that person's skill than I am when
Oh
I beat
yeah.
Elden Ring. I'm like, holy shit, they have one hand and was able to tongue punch their mouse to win Elden Ring? That's insane. Like that's good on them. Like Jesus. You know what I
Man,
mean?
they must have great ton of action.
I don't know. When I see that, I'm just
Bruh
like, that
moment.
is way more skillful than me
Hell
just
yeah.
doing what I'm doing.
Like, me pressing a button and beating a boss, that's not impressive. Them, you using their tongue to press buttons to literally jump, dive, dodge, and then kill a boss that I was having trouble with on, like, the first try? God tier, you know?
Yeah, or like the people who have like played it with a banana, like that type of shit
Oh,
is
yeah. Someone who
truly
plays,
insane.
like, the people who play it with freaking Guitar Hero guitars. Like,
Dude.
like, I'm sorry, but, like, I don't think you have a leg on to stand on about Elden Ring isn't able for people to be like who are disabled to play it when you have programmable controls. I don't think they have a colorblind function. I think that is one thing they could add. But other than that, like they're very accessible. Like, you don't need to make an entirely new version of the game for that.
Yeah.
I also have degenerate problems, and it's up to me to keep that in check. If I feel I can't play a game, I just watch people who can play the game. Like, the thing is this though, say, wait, degenerate problem. What type of games are you watching?
I think we all know those Steam games that keep popping up every once in a while.
To be fair, I think I've seen a few of her streams, and let's just say, oof,
Oh, I gotta investigate. Hold on. Excuse me.
Honey Pop. You know what? Understandable. Understandable. Who up playing the banana? I think a lot of people actually use the banana. Bunny Garden is goated. Shut up. I haven't played it. I don't know. I haven't even seen it. I don't know anything about it.
Rep, by the way, I would love to watch someone beat Elden Ring with their skin flute. That would be legendary.
I'd actually pay
That
to
would
see
be
that.
fucking legendary.
I'd pay to see that. Well, I'd say we continue. Let's see what she goes on for this.
Still enjoy really hard games as well. The complications with this conversation arise, I think, with Elden Ring specifically. Like, yeah, there are so many people who just dismiss it as like, shut up, who cares about you, you're disabled, which, fuck off. Second,
Oh,
People just
yeah.
assuming they're asking for easy mode, and that's not the case. It's not an easy. It's not even less difficulty. It's more options. But third is
Wait,
it's not an easy. It's not even less difficulty. It's more options.
is she asking for more options or an easy mode right there? I feel like I may have heard that wrong.
I don't know. I think she's trying to say that people are too busy assuming that they're asking for an easy mode when they're just asking for more options. But she's not describing the options she wants. Like, what option? Like, because she talked about her tendonitis. What option would you have Elden Ring add that doesn't have button spam? I.e., the game already doesn't have button spam. If you're spamming buttons,
Yeah.
you die.
Well,
Just
not
like full stop.
well that, but also what else was I thinking? It was well, the reason I think people assume that is because a lot of game journals advocate for putting easy modes in Souls-like games just because they want to get through it easier. Honestly, I'm not even convinced to actually play the game. I just think they try to get through it as easy as possible, write a review, and put their thing out saying they did something.
Yeah.
But I think that's why everyone assumes that, if that makes sense, because there's such a heaviness and people wanting, like, at least journalists really wanting easy modes, that it kind of takes away from the charm of Elden Ring. Because let's be honest, one of the charms is just the difficulty. The bosses are cool and all that stuff, but the charm is like everyone has a challenge to beat. But if everyone could just turn down the difficulty, it wouldn't mean as much.
But yeah, I
Like, who celebrated when everyone beat Radagon? Like Radagon, like when you beat Radagon in that fight, like you were like, yes, I did it. That was great. Now you have an easy mode, and then you beat it on the hardest difficulty, and then someone else comes out and beats it on the easy mode. Like, yeah, I did it. That's not the same.
so the reason why Elden Ring is so culturally relevant, and the reason why I can look at you and say, dude, I beat Millennia on my 5th try, and that has weight to you, is because we're all playing the same game.
Yeah,
We're all playing the same game with the same values, and yeah, they may tweak them, they may fix some things, but we all understand that, right?
yeah.
Like, if you were to tell me, oh, I beat Godfrey first try, I'm
Hmm.
like, holy shit, that's impressive, because we
That's
all
impressive.
played the same game,
Yeah,
right? And if they have this mode for this person, 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 then when I hear you say, "Oh, I beat fucking I don't know, I beat fucking Godric the Grafted 3rd try,"
yeah,
I'm like, "I don't know what that means." Like,
yeah,
for me, that took 15. Like,
yeah.
were you really good, or like, what was your game settings?
For
Like,
for my
there's
build, it
just
was like
more layers.
easy. Like for my build, it was like easy. For other builds, it was difficult. Like I struggled with the Moon Princess. I
Yeah,
basically one shot like what was their name? I basically one shot some of the dragons because that was just easy for me as a magic build. But for the Moon Veil, like Scholar Lady, she was a bitch to deal with.
Renala,
You
yeah.
say Moon. What the hell is Moonvale Scholar Lady? Ray Lucaria Scholar Lady. Gott
Yes,
im Himmel sei, Gott
dude,
im
it's
Himmel.
been like so long since I played fucking like Elden Ring. I'm sorry.
Get cheat mods, change some values. Yeah, you can do that. That's
Fuck
extremely
you.
easy.
Either way, let's continue. I'm just pointing that out.
But
Yeah.
third is the unique challenge with FromSoft games of completing them being such a point of pride. They intentionally make these games difficult. Like I
Mm-hmm.
already said, this is an established ethos of these games. They are intentionally very difficult. Elden Ring is the broadest, the most open. You can use summons if you want to. If you want it to be harder, you don't have to. You can approach it with as much or as little assistance as you want, and you have still completed the game. Controversial, I know, but yes, if you use summons, you've still finished the game. I don't care how you play it. Do whatever you want. But it's also just that whole culture of beating a FromSoft game is such a point of pride for people. And how do you avoid taking away that point of pride? That is one-to-one with their design ethos. It is making you feel a sense of accomplishment for overcoming something very difficult. It's a feeling humans love. You get a sense of accomplishment. You feel like you did something of value. Humans love that. And Elden Ring's like that in video games on crack. Like, if I feel a sense of accomplishment every time I get an achievement because I collected 50 Who's Whatsits, it is like triple when I beat a
Question: can we get an item in Elden Ring that's called the Who's a What's It?
I'd love that.
I would
That's
love that.
crazy.
Can we get that, please? Can someone mod that in? Thank you.
Boss in a FromSoft
Game
game. There are
MacGuffin.
bosses in Sekiro where I beat them and I like threw my hands up in the air and screamed. There are so few other games that have that effect. And that's a feeling that I do think everybody should be able to have catered to their own accessibility needs. Here's my pitch, okay? Hear me out, the internet. Here's my pitch for fixing the problems surrounding Elden Ring or FromSoft games in general being so like just the discourse being so hotly contested. Like it's like I've been making fun of people this week for saying that if you played with someone you didn't finish the game, that you cheated, even though it's a mechanic that's right there. It's literally intentionally there. It would be like saying you didn't beat Shadow of the Erd Tree because you used the scatter tree fragments. It's nonsense. They're in the Miyazaki put them in the game. It's cool that we can adopt them or not adopt them based on how we want to experience the thing or the unique challenges that we have because we're all fucking different people, right? Here's my pitch, okay, gamers? Hear me out. I haven't had this conversation with anyone, so I don't know how many holes there are, but this is my thought. What if, for every game that you finish, but especially for FromSoft games, there were an ending title screen that you could screenshot and you could share very easily that details exactly how you finish the game. Are people going to reply to each other who share that and be toxic about it? Yeah, people are going to.
Why would you suggest this as a solution when I think it'd make that problem that you are trying to fix so much worse? Because let's be honest, if you finish a FromSoft game and it tells you exactly how you played it, and you got to compare to other people how you finished the game, oh my gosh.
You'd get bullied off the internet.
You'd get bullied. You'd get bullied. Specifically, you would get bullied. It'd be so much worse than what it is right now.
And I don't think they should be bullied, but imagine like you having a conversation with like the biggest like FromSoft fanboy ever, and they went through it completely without any armor or without any weapons. They blasted the game, and now you're in a conversation and they ask for your screenshot of how you beat Elden Ring, and it's like you used magic, you used summons, you had the damage decreased because you wanted disable
you wore armor
disability settings, you wore armor, you did all this stuff. You'd actually, and I don't think you should get bullied, but that's what would happen because people would be like, well, show me your screenshot of how you won. Like,
those is rough, and that would be very bad. That's my thing. Like, I'm starting to agree with Voister. This may just be like a trollish post. Because let's be honest, saying kids are disabilities, fucking like saying we don't want easy mode, we want disability implementation, even though there's a bunch of disabled people who've already beaten Elden Ring, which is very impressive, by the way. But like, I'm starting to think this is a troll video more than anything else, and I'm not sure if it is. It's either rage bait or this person's actually delusional. Because I never discount that fact that people can actually be delusional. I've seen PlayStation fanboys literally threaten to blow up PlayStation headquarters. So at this point, I'm honestly consider that either, if you have a bad take, sometimes either you're just delusional or you're just rage baiting half the time. There's usually one or the other.
Yeah, very, very likely.
Also, go follow Blackburn. If you don't, I will kick Voister.
Oh, what? What the heck? Friendly fire. Oh
yes,
my gosh.
Friendly fire.
I better come follow me. Oh my.
Gotta come follow him. Do it.
I'm just chilling and it's like, you're gonna get kicked, bastard.
Kick Voister. Dude, god dang, Riptide. What the hell? I'm not kicking him.
He just wants to play For Honor. I don't blame him.
Oh, that's understandable. Why is everyone saying do it? Holy shit. They're being mean to you, dude. I'm so sorry.
Because after I'm done here, I'm playing For Honor, and they're fucking foaming at the mouth.
Oh, they're foaming at the mouth?
Yeah.
How many DMs are you getting right now?
Let me check. I have OBS up, so my DMs are muted. I got 4 from Rep exclusively. That's very funny.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. Let's finish the video, then you can get out of here.
That's all good.
Like, you summons, you died, and beat you summons and beat the game. Yeah, people are gonna be dicks. But I feel like it would maybe prevent some of the extra accessibility specific gatekeeping. Like all of these people who are vehemently against accessibility options, which is really, again, just in-game customization options. No one's asking for less or more damage, but like less button presses or there's a large list of things that can make it easier for disabled players to play a really hard game and still have it feel really hard, but still be able to play it, you know? But what if you get a screen at the end with the credits that shows exactly how you played it or what options you had on or off? In my head, this would alleviate a lot of that discourse. People are saying like no accessibility whatsoever because I want to be able to play Elden Ring the exact way that I want to be able to play it. And I feel like those people are shooting themselves in the foot because what if they get one of those temporary, situational, or short-term disabilities? You break your wrist, you're not going to be able to play Elden Ring. You have a kid, suddenly you can't play Elden Ring. Like,
oh
I
my
feel like
god, she's doubling down on the kid shit.
All
oh
right.
my god.
So she's saying, what if you stumble into this? All right, if I have a kid and that's impacting my ability to play Elden Ring, I'm not going to fucking play Elden Ring. I'm going to take care of my child.
Dude, even if that's the case, just wait till they go to fucking bed.
Yeah, if I break my wrist and that's impacting my ability to play Elden Ring, I'm not gonna fucking play Elden Ring.
Like, if I'm not playing Elden Ring, I'll probably do something else. I can come back to Elden Ring.
Yeah, it's not like a game that has a constant alarm being like, you are not playing Elden Ring. Scheduled termination at your nearest termination office. Like, it's not this big issue that you have to play Elden Ring during
Like,
breaking your wrist. Like,
yeah.
it's asinine. Secondly, there are already like shit to help you out. If you're having trouble with bosses, go fucking
go fuck another one. Go fuck another boss. You know?
Yeah, go level up some more, or use a mimic tier summon, or summon in another player to help you. Like, there are already handicaps to this game that like most people can beat it with the help that is already there.
yeah.
And I feel like I genuinely believe everyone can beat this game if they just give themselves some patience and they give themselves some leeway and be like, you know what? I don't have to fight Godric the Grafted at level 21. I can go get up to level 40 and then try again.
Yeah, like what is it? The problem I have is this. I think the movie games have kind of ruined people's like breaking of the mold type thing. No one breaks games anymore.
Yeah.
At least not the ones who aren't actually trying to break the games half the time. Like, if you're playing like, say, Helldivers 2, you're not really gonna break the game that often unless you're actively trying to do it. You know?
Yeah.
With Elden Ring, you have to break the game. Like, they don't mark any of the dungeons on your map. They don't mark where you're supposed to go. They don't mark shit. You gotta go find that shit. I found an invisible wall just because I wanted to hit a mannequin.
Yeah. Well, that's the kind of self-discovery that I really like from this game. And subsequent games like Baldur's Gate or very famously Dishonored.
Yeah. Like, I think it's one of those things of like with games that really don't force you to think. When you get to a game like Elden Ring, which forces you to heavily think about what you're doing, I think it's just too much of a shock.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It just feels like purposeful rage bait to try and get the Souls community bent out of shape arbitrarily.
Maybe. Let's continue.
Say it when they don't have
up.
disabilities, but in 10 years when you do have some kind of disability, I feel like you're going to retroactively kind of regret that you were like, absolutely not, don't change anything. I finished Tunic. That game rules and is very hard. And after I finished it, I beat the final boss that you don't even have to, well, spoilers. She was so hard. She was so hard. It took me days. Tunic has an accessibility option.
I'm sorry. My brain went dirty right there. I'm so sorry. I just said it was hard. Hard. She's so hard. She's so hard. It took me days. And I'm just dying. I'm so sorry, Chad.
They're just so hard.
It's
so hard.
That you can use to... It's basically God mode. I think you can prevent all damage. I beat the game without that and felt so accomplished and so proud of myself. And I don't care that that mode is there, or that option is there to help other people who still want to experience the game without that. I think that's perfectly fine. But I would have liked just a little something at the end, even an achievement, to give me the credit for doing the hardest fights on what is effectively the hardest in-game possible difficulty because I didn't have those accessibility options on. You know what I mean? That's my thought, basically. Elden Ring is already the most accessible FromSoft game. If you're complaining about Shadow of the Erdtree being too hard, You don't have to play it. You are definitely allowed to criticize them. And I also think you should explore more because you will find another build or another means to make things easier. Like, I think you're being impatient is probably what's happening realistically. This is for people who obviously don't have accessibility problems. But what if, so that we could actually allow disabled players to play these games, which is a thing I care about, the end of the game, you just get a screen with all your stats. How many times you died, what options you did or did not have on. So people can still brag and still show off, because again, that is clearly a thing people like doing with these games. I just feel like it would solve a lot of this conversation. This is really not about asking Miyazaki, FromSoft, to make the game easier where accessibility is concerned. It's about allowing more people to play it. And sometimes people just need different settings to be able to do that, more customization to be able to do that. Does it make sense? I feel like it makes sense. Basically, yeah, I'm just so surprised that we're in a timeline where literally enough people are complaining about it. Like, all of the games journalists gave it a 10 out of 10, but the Steam reviews, the gamers are the ones saying it's just too damn hard. For any of those people who do not have accessibility specific issues, you just gotta explore more, dude. You can do it. You can do it. I think you're being impatient. I think you can do it. And to the
Oh god,
I'm almost
let's
100% sure this is rage bait, because she goes from one end of simply saying get good, this game isn't for you kind of deal, to the other end of the spectrum being like you need disability settings to make the game easier. It's 100% like rage bait. Like, I don't know, that the fact that they're on one end of the spectrum being like the game's not like the game isn't that hard, you just need to explore more, to then immediately being like make the game easier. That just, yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, I think it's rage bait mostly because she makes valid points about adding more systems to make it easier for disabled people to actually get into it. But then her solution to like creating new versions, like an easier style mode for disabled people, and then her solution to regular style of that stuff is literally just to, and I quote, turn like fucking add like a specific achievement that shows exactly how you beat the game. And I'm like, you thought people were toxic before about beating Elden Ring. Imagine people being like, oh, I beat it with the maximum amount of armor that I got after grinding these levels. Check out my master weapons. It's like,
Yeah.
it's fucking, it's BS, that'd make everything worse. You actively would create an entirely new problem by doing that.
Well,
And
you'd also give the toxic fans an avenue to shit on players even
then,
more.
yeah, and not to mention, I'm sorry, but describing kids as disabilities, I think either that was just wrong verbiage or she's actively trying to get out of people's skins at that point. Because let's be honest, you don't describe children as disabilities unless A, you don't have them, you don't want them, or B, you're just kind of a bitch. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but like describing children with disabilities is just kind of a fucked up thing to do.
It's very silly. It's, yeah, no,
Yeah.
the whole video just feels like it's trying its absolute best to piss people off under the guise of social reform.
Yeah. What do you think, Blackburn?